Ndisuka kwa-Joyride Adventures. So uJoyride Adventures siyi-outdoor adventure company. Njengobubona ubuhle beliphondo lethu, siye sithathe abantu abasuka ngaphandle ngamatshanhliziyo ukuthanda ukukhenketha ke ukuhike nokuthini, sibabonise ke ubuhle bale ndawo. Amongst other things esiye sizenze ke is virtual tours. Esinqwene lapho futhi ukuzenza mandiyilungise lo ndawo ngoba kaloku sibone uba kukho i-opportunity kweso space. Very little is said about abantu bakuthi abakhubazekileyo abangevayo nabanantsikileyo, kodwa ke babe beyibona yonke indalo yethu bayinhle. So esi space ke ngoku sitriggerishwe ile nantsika lo mcimbi we-COVID lo busivaleleke sona, and we feel that isandla esi anothi asifake futhi urhulumente singakwazi uba sipenetrate nakweso space. Kona basincedile in terms of le financial year edlulileyo, safumana ke isixamali sokuba senze feasibility study. Feasibility study yethu ke i-concrete namaphesheya banomdla ke uba mabaze bazokhenketha ngoba kaloku siyibophe sathumelela ke ne-questionnaires ukuthi ke zintoni abarhalela uba bangazi experience nxa bezobuthela apha kuthi eMpuma Koloni. Therefore we waiting ke patiently ukuthi ke liphinde livulwe ke lithuba le-LRAD so that sikwazi uba si-implemente ke some of the things bese sazinqakana phaa kula feasibility. Well isenza uba sikwazi uba sibone nezi opportunity nditsho ndaxelela ngoba kaloku there's very few people abayenzayo into yokukhupha aba bantu bakuthi abakhubazekileyo babakhuphe on an adventure because besithi bazasisokolisa. But we need to understand nabo ngabantu be-society. Now ispace esi-operator kuso ke is very close to i-deaf school yase-Woodlands. So ibiyiyo ke yenye indawo kwesesazidwendwela ukuthi kaloku abantwana baye bathi nxa bephuma ku-standard 10 waphana baphuma bengenanto. Therefore we felt that uba sibanika iskill sokuthi bakwazi uba batolikele abanye abantu ngolu hlobo batolika ngalo ke ngezandla, izawuthi isenzelele lula ke loo nto ukuthi ke nabo bangene kwesi space se-tourism which we are also passionate about. So yiko ke le nto ndisithi ke le feasibility isibangele ukuba sikwazi uba si-identify ke nalo mathuba yokuthi uba abantu banantsike bangene kuso.
Nguzukisa siyazi ndiphangele basadi, but I'm planning to move uya kweyam indawo uyozivulela yam indawo because ininzi into endifuna uyenza. So I feel like ispace isincinci and bendisebenzela umntu phaa, so I'm planning to expand my business.
Yenzani business yakho?
Business yam it's a salon, yenza ndiyacheba, ndenza ne-massages, ne-pedicure, ne-manicure and everything, ne-facials. I'm planning to do ne-facials. Xa sendiyifumeneyo ndinikezwe imali for uthenga i-equipment ye-100,000. Izanceda to start my own business, ndenze ndithenge zonke ezi zinto ndizifunayo. Not that zizokwenela though, but to start a business, it's a very big thing. Yes. So ndiyabulela kakhulu, ndiyavuya kakhulu. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Business I'm Ngubongola General Trading. It's a brick and it's a brick manufacturing company. Ndifumana 2.4 million. Sithenge already spent it already. Sithenge i-tipper truck, i-forklift, i-container. Yeah, and then ke ngoku sebenza ukwenza nezidana, and then ke ngoku in return you have to employ people which we already have. Bese ba 29 currently. by 16 initially, and then ngoku Eldred is by 29. So it's 14 people employed after the funding. Ndiziva ndonwabile, very excited because iyanceda in the community. People are getting jobs in the community. They're happy. We support the community now. We have a plan to help them build a hall just as appreciation for ubapaya, and then the community is benefiting very much. Kuti.
Igama kuMphumezi Mzileni. Business cleaner, ikhawushi, amatrasi, izitulo ze-office, izitulo ze-dining room kwakunye nezitulo zemoto.
Nifumene imali lapha khona?
Sifumene i-100,000. Sifuna u-expanda ibusiness, si-cleane nee-carpets, so imali ezasinceda into yoba sifumane umatshini wokwazi ubana sikline ii-carpets. And ke sifumane njengoba ibhizinesi ikhula nje sifumane ii-clients ezininzi, oomatshini esinabo ngabakhomishala which is abakwazi ukufumana okanye ukuthatha isixa somsebenzi omkhulu. Therefore ke ngoku imali le zasinceda uba sikwazi nofumana oomatshini aba-industrial abazawukwazi into yobana bakline umsebenzi omkhulu.
Okay. Okay, then we will be ready now.
Unomava kunqa,
Uyintoni phayisena?
project manager. Siva kamnandi kakhulu bhuti. Oqala uyabona umzekelo apha eSouth Africa sikabanye abantu abanokucinezeleko kakhulu. Ngaze kube khona izinto ne, kubekho events, kubekho incwadi, kubekho intoni, but thina sibethakala into abantoni i-writing ebakhona le abantu ababonayo. Thina abantu bangaboniyo bengahlashekela emva ke ngoku. So besifuna ususa lo ngxaki ikhoyo yokuba ngabikho ibraille apha eSouth Africa. Sincedisane nezinye indawo ezenza ibraille. Umzekelo bona pha eSouthern Cape ibraille ifumana ku-library yaseRhini only. Kwezinye indawo awukwazi ifumana phi kuma-Pretoria noma Cape Town. So besisenza uncedo kwi-skill sabantu bangaboniyo esinaso. Esi skill sesona sabantu bangaboniyo asixuthwa mntu. Ngoqinisekelayo bhuti. Sathenga imaterial ukwenza ntoni ibraille. Sivula amathuba omsebenzi kubahlali nakuthi because no matter abantu abangaboniyo le ibraille izawufuna abantwana umuntu sighted. Umzekelo wothunyela i-email uyomuntu ofuna ukubhalela ngebraille. Lo email izawufuna ngubani? Ngumntana.
Thanks a lot, Pati. Good morning once more. My name is Welekazi Sokutu. I've been asked to be the steering person for this program, which is a very short program. At this point in time, I would like those of us who are able to stand up as we're going to get a rendition of our national anthem. Thank you. There's an English saying that goes, for every cloud, there's a silver lining. Amaxhosa athi, akukho nto imbi kwaphela. I was looking, Honorable Premier, as we were singing, the city, abanye are thanking God for the coronavirus, ne masks, because as verses, they would be struggling and striving, but mask is protecting me. So, akukho nto imbi kwaphela, for every cloud, there's a silver lining. Good morning once again. I have introduced myself. Our program is not meant to be long. I am going to direct it as such. And at this point in time, I would like us to call upon our Honorable Executive Mayor for the city, Honorable Councillor Phakathi, to come and welcome us in this session of today before we can do anything else. Over to you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Mama Sokoto, the Deputy Executive Mayor of Buffalo City Metro, and fellow councillors present here, the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Honorable Oscar Mabuyane, and members of the Executive Council present, the DG of the province, Mr. Sokone, the leadership of the South African Youth Council, and all other youth organizations present here today, young people watching this virtual program across the province, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with a great pleasure and honor that we get to welcome you to this celebration of Youth Day in the Eastern Cape, which is hosted by the Office of the Premier in our city and streamed for people across the province. We should all remember that June 16, which is now celebrated as Youth Day, is a reminder of the heroic struggles of South African students in June 1976, who fought against the demeaning Bantu education system, more particularly its attempt to force Afrikaans on the throats of black people in South Africa. This is This was not only a struggle for quality education, but for a push to defeat the apartheid regime. And as a result, the 1976 student protest created the necessary conditions which increased the tempo of the struggle for liberation in South Africa. I am highlighting this point to underscore the role of young people in society and the need to ensure that their energies are properly channeled. What is important in this whole narrative is the need to place education as a cornerstone for any journey of personal development and socio-economic development of a nation. There is no denying that education remains a very essential instrument for effecting fundamental socio-economic transformation and placing our province on a path of shared growth and prosperity. It is the epicenter of our program of rooting out the still visible vestiges of apartheid. Honorable Premier, we have over the years made a number of investments in various areas of the city, but we are mindful of the fact that the greatest contribution we can make for our people is to ensure that the current generation is educated and their opportunities are expanded. Due to the limit of our mandate as municipality, we try to provide the required support structure for communities where education and learning is protected. The mayoral bursary fund is just but one of the many areas of interventions we are doing in education front, and this is all with the intention of investing in our people in order to guarantee their prosperous future. In emphasizing the importance of education, the Vietnamese revolutionary Ho Chi Minh makes a profound statement, and I quote, "To reap a return in 10 years, plant trees. To reap a return in 100 years, cultivate people," end quote. That's what Ho Chi Minh taught us. The prioritization of education and its increased funding by the national and provincial government is full proof of the fact that the governing party is deliberate in cultivating our youth for the creation of a better life for all. Our bursary fund as the city has had significant achievements, and we have educated around 140 students over the years. The funding that we give goes towards tuition, registration fees, prescribed books, study materials, and accommodation. We are therefore playing our role in the education of our youth. We do this taking cue from the wise counsel of the late President Nelson Mandela, who once remarked that education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of mine worker can become the head of the mines, that the child of a farm worker can become president of a great nation. It is important to indicate that our city also supports a number of young black businesses through business skills training, and we also assist with implements for business. Our municipality is also active in the township economy with hawker stalls being built throughout the areas of the metro. We have partnered with the youth NPO called Harambi to ensure youth from townships and rural areas are equipped with requisite skills to find jobs or self-employment. Supporting youth employment and self-employment is key to our efforts to reduce unemployment and inequality. To be here and witness the Premier hand over funding to young entrepreneurs in our city gives us a great joy, and we are very thankful as the municipality for the role that the provincial government continues to play in our quest for development. There can be no better way of celebrating Youth Day than this. This shows that our provincial government is led by visionaries We have a big picture of what needs to be done. This gives us great comfort and joy as stakeholders and residents of the Eastern Cape. We welcome everyone who is here in our city and those at home who are watching these virtual proceedings. May this program be a success. Long live the spirit of the youth of 1976. Long live.
Thank you, Honorable Executive Mayor, for those inspiring words, for reminding us where we are coming from and where we need to go. At this point, we are going to get the purpose of the day and also acknowledge our guests here. Let me greet you once more and also greet those that are watching this program on various social media platforms. We are gathered here today to commemorate the 45th anniversary of the youth uprising, as they are known, to commemorate the 45th anniversary of that day when young people decided to say enough is enough. This is our Provincial Youth Day commemoration, which we are commemorating under the theme which goes as follows: the year of Charlotte Manya Maxeke, growing youth employment for an inclusive and transformed society. And in line with that theme, for this year's Youth Day, the business of today is really to affirm young people that are starting entrepreneurs, young people that are already entrepreneurs, for them to continue their endeavors such that we reduce the high unemployment rate, such that we transform not only those families from which those young people come from, but we transform their communities as well. So everything that is going to be done today attests to the theme of today. I would further like to acknowledge the guests that are amongst us. I would start by indicating, as the Honorable Mayor has indicated, that the Honorable Premier of the province is with us. And amongst us, we have the Honorable Mayor of the Buffalo City, Honorable Councillor Pakati. We also have the member of the Executive Council responsible for social development, Honorable MEC Manilu City. We also have amongst us leadership from the Buffalo City. We have the Deputy Mayor amongst us. We have the MMC responsible for special programs unit amongst us. And then government officials are led by the Director General. But most importantly, we have amongst us those young people that learned from Tata Mandela when he said, "A winner is a dreamer that never gives up." Those young people today are attesting to that they dreamt of being entrepreneurs. They did not give up, and they are here today. For that point, I would like us to get our hands together just to welcome the guests, but you end up on a high note for the beneficiaries that are our young entrepreneurs today. We're going to have 3 rounds of claps. The first round of clap is coming to you for honoring this event. The second round goes to our guests. Then the third round goes to our beneficiaries. Shall we go? 1, 2, 3. That's for you. Then for the leadership, 1, 2, 3. Then for the beneficiaries, remember this one is going to be louder. Shall we go? That's it. At this point in time, I would also like to welcome the Honorable Speaker of BCM, Dada Hamfima Kekwana. Welcome, Dada, amongst us. So that is the purpose, and those are the guests that are amongst us. We have acknowledged, we have welcomed them. We get straight to the next item, and the next item is for us to feel that we are in a youth development event, we are in a Youth Day commemoration event. We are going to get performance, and this performance is preparing us to get to the main address of the day. In fact, we're going to have 2 performances, then we get to the main address of the day. One performance, then the main address, after that, another performance. This group that is going to perform for us is a group of artists from the city, and igama labo kuthiwa it's the Sonwa Sakuba Institute for the Performing Arts. Here in BCM, Sonwa Sakuba Institute for the Performing Arts. It shows that young people are even establishing institutes. That is how developed they are. Shall we applaud them as they come forward? Over to you, Sonwa, to do your performance for us.
We understand it still that there is no easy road to freedom. We know it well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. We must therefore act together as a united people for national reconciliation, for nation building, for the birth of a new world. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. Let each know that for each, the body, the mind, and the soul have been free to fulfill themselves. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa.
Thanks. Siyabulela. Siyabulela for that that good choreography. I was thinking how many of us here are thinking that, hey, in my days, but I leave it there. At this point in time, I would like us to call upon the Honorable Premier to render the main address for today. Shall we applaud him as he comes up?
senzoyeka nobamba kwanto imani ke thini kwakho abantu abame ngenyawo phaa ngasemva kwenzeke ntoni? Is it an over subscription? Kwenzeke ntoni? Yinto kokona abantu abanxibe iiblazer eziserious phaa ngingayithetha enye nenye. Thank you very much, Program Director, DDG Sokutu. Greetings to members of the Executive Council, those who are at home joining us virtually, as well as the MEC Manilu City, who is here with us representing other MECs. And greetings to the Speaker of our legislature and the entire House, also joining us surely from home. The Executive Mayor of Buffalo City, Councillor Pagati, kunye no Speaker, as well as the Deputy Executive Mayor, the leaders of our youth formation, and the young people of our province, colleagues, friends, and comrades, our beautiful young artists that were just performing here. I was happy that in their choreography there's a bit of maintaining social distance, because I was concerned about them not wearing masks, because they are not necessarily singing, they are dancing. I think those who are managing them, they must look at that so that in the other performances we protect their lives. Members of the media present here, good morning to all of you. We are indeed delighted to be able to find ourselves among the youth of our province on this very historic 45th anniversary of the June 16 tragedy of 1976, which proved to be a catalyst towards the final stretch to attaining liberation and our freedom in 1994. We salute those who paid the ultimate price to help pursue the vision of a South Africa that is free, open, and today present equal opportunities to all of our children. I just forgot DG Zulu and your entire team. And my apologies. The 1976 generation made its indelible mark in our society by making the ultimate sacrifice, not just on the historic day of June 16, but were among some of the most vociferous of generations of youth who, when called upon by the circumstances and demands of their times, picked up the kettles of a liberation struggle. The luminaries of this legacy of the generations of 1976 joined the distinguished pioneers who had gone before them. I could among them
mention Utata Nelson Mandela, Utata Tambo, Utata Walter Sisulu, Utata Anthony Lembede, and Utata A.P. Mda, who took what must have been a very daunting decision in the face of the brutal onslaught of the state-sponsored oppression of the African majority to establish the Youth League of the African National Congress on the 10th of September 1944. The robustness of the youth would remain a lingering theme throughout the unparalleled 82 years it took the African National Congress, with the help of the broad-based civil society support, to halt the violent onslaught of successive colonial and apartheid regimes. But unlike one opposition political party in our country and in the province, the ANC-led government consciously elected to recognize the atrocities of apartheid for what they were, a gross violation of our humanity ultimately described by the international community, that is the United Nations, as a crime against humanity. Notwithstanding the desire by some among us to wish away our shared and often difficult history and its accompanying monstrosity, the ANC government recognized from the onset of our democratic order, when it was unfashionable to do so, that the salvation of our people would have included nation building, national reconciliation, but foremost redress past injustices. Ladies and gentlemen, apartheid denialism should be rejected by all in our society, as to deny apartheid is to trivialize South Africa's protracted liberation struggle, in which thousands lost their lives and with untold human suffering visited upon millions of South Africans of all races over decades. On the 45th anniversary of June 16, 1976 Youth Day, and some 27 years into our democracy, we are still grappling with enduring and many legacies of colonialism and apartheid, and the Eastern Cape province is no exception in this regard. While the African National Congress in government has presided over many and significant strides in improving the human conditions of millions of poor and vulnerable over the last 27 years, the legacies of legislated and violently enforced segregationist policies of apartheid, among them the deliberate underdevelopment of areas where Africans were predominant, is evident to this day. The Eastern Cape is still seated with the vast infrastructure deficit, underdevelopment, and the historic neglect of our human capital, which today manifest in the form of triple challenge of poverty, high unemployment, and inequality. If not properly tackled, these pose a formidable developmental challenge for the foreseeable future. What is the strategy to mitigate and ultimately reverse these holding patterns? Program Director, the provincial government is employing a multiplicity of interventions to respond to prevalent poverty, inequality, and high youth unemployment towards growing youth employment for inclusive and transformed society. Also, the theme under which we are commemorating June 16 today. When we tabled our 2021 State of the Province address earlier this year, we made the undertaking to pursue all developmental opportunities for the Eastern Cape youth, including enabling greater access to education, training opportunities, and support for the entrepreneurial spirit of young people across various economic sectors in the province. We recently announced a multi-million rand partnership between Office of the Premier and on behalf of the provincial government and the Sector Education and Training Authority, that is SETA, which is aimed at introducing skills development intervention around the unemployment youth of our province. The three SETAs are investing a combined investment of about 30 million in this financial year to upskill the youth of our province. Our partnership with CETA seeks to identify skills intervention for unemployed youth in the province and expose them in the various project opportunities, which include the training of unemployed, disabled, and rural youth. This project is targeting more than 50 unemployed youth with disabilities and from rural areas for training. The partnership is the implementation of learnership program over 12 months period, where 35 participants will also be taking part in this program, also targeting young people with disabilities. The second one being unemployed graduates internship and learnership projects. This project targets many unemployed graduates which will be placed as an interns in government departments, state entities, and private sector for a period of 24 months. We do have a number of young people who are currently in our offices. Some are actually finishing their 24 months, some are actually starting their 24 months period as learners as well as interns. What we would want to appeal to our young people is that this is a 24 months contract that to enable you, just to cultivate you to be able to look for also much more other broader opportunities and greener pastures. The unfortunate part of having young people after 24 months who don't want to leave the government space, it becomes a challenge. So we want to appeal to our young people to understand that we should be able to appreciate the rotational way or model that we're using, where many young people must be exposed to that experiential training. The third one being the training of unemployed beneficiaries of ex-mine workers in the Christian and Alfred Nzo district municipalities. That will be benefiting almost about 100 youth in plant production and road building skills. I wish to mention that provincial government will soon announce a program to engage further on more intimately with ex-miners, ex-mine workers community as we roll out socio-economic intervention in these important constituents of our province. Mayor Phakathi, today we are supported by your presence here. We are, as we come to the youth of Buffalo City Metro, Nezpaluga Zayo, to say that in spite of the high pressures being exerted on the public purse, particularly in the context of an economy that is growing at a snail pace, notwithstanding the devastating impact of the novel coronavirus on the broader global economy, and the Eastern Cape has not been left unscathed, but we continue to persevere. As a responsible and a caring government, we must, as we should, do our utmost to support our young people as they look to their government for assistance, guidance, and direction. Unfortunately, government cannot employ everyone, cannot employ every graduate. I think young people must also understand that government can only create a conducive environment. All these interventions that we're speaking about, be it learnership or internships or support for the entrepreneurs, NGOs, etc., are meant to help government create more base for the job opportunities for many other young people out there. So the fact that many young people who are graduates, unemployed, think that they should be employed by government is a very unfortunate way. The Eastern Cape government can just not afford, as we normally report to the public about this, that as we speak, we currently at 65% is CAL on COE. That is the money that Eastern Cape government gets allocated from national fiscus, the equitable share. 65% of that money goes to the salaries and all the benefits of employees, with just probably above 120,000 employees. So you are left with 35%, which you're supposed to be using for development of our province, where you should be building schools, hospitals, clinics, houses, etc. So that's a very unfortunate part that government is not really an employment agent. Government is there to facilitate this development, all-inclusive development of our people. So we should be not having many people getting into government money, but we should be having government creating more opportunities for people outside government so that people can participate easily. So that's what we should be able to do much better, so that we can have money to do roads. No one is going to do road other than government. No private company is interested in the social infrastructure development. It's government responsibility to build hospitals, clinics, roads, etc. So if we pay more on salaries as provincial government, there's something wrong with the kind of a system, an arrangement we have. But we understand where we are coming from if you talk about this amalgamation of three administrations, Transkei, Ciskei, as well as the Republic into one. So we're still continuing with that, and as we are trying to address this kind of a misnomer that I've just referred to. This Youth Month is highly significant as the Eastern Cape government has intensified the implementation of the Provincial Youth Development Strategy, which is geared towards enabling young men and women to be active participants in the stimulation of the economy in the province. Part of that implementation is the continued distribution of youth funding through the Eastern Cape Provincial Government Isiqalo Youth Fund initiative aimed at supporting young entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground. I'm therefore pleased to announce that 17 projects headed by young entrepreneurs from Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality area are among the next round to benefit from government funding to get their small businesses up and running. We are doing this thing across the province wherever we go. We just chose today to be here in Buffalo City and look at those who have gone through the system, who are now beneficiaries of the government intervention, particularly this initiative of Isiqalo Youth Fund. We are underreporting here. There's a lot of beneficiation. If you go to our records of supply chain, you will notice that many young people are now beginning to actually benefit out of our own supply chain processes. Women are beginning to benefit as we are mainstreaming all these designated groups. So, but for today, our interest was just to focus on what Isiqalo as a newly established intervention, how Isiqalo is doing, and we are making it a point that Isiqalo is actually distributed across the province. That's why you see us, wherever we go, we are able to affirm young people, young entrepreneurs out of that. And what I like most so far is Kali. I've almost gone across the province for the last 2 years on these kind of programs. And I've seen an attempt of getting to the most really vulnerable young people, the most destitute, those who have got ideas deep in townships with no one looking after them. So ndiyayibulela ke lonto to the officials who are working on this, because South Africa noba kwenziwa ntoni, whether the new development that you see is that black people, even those who have money, are not expected to invest in the economy of South Africa. If they invest in the economy, there's something wrong with that. There's a corruption involved. I see the issues of SAA, how it sparks debate when you listen to people debating who is behind this, who is involved. By virtue that black people are involved, there's something fundamentally wrong. It is corrupt. It's a corrupt transaction. There's no black person who has money, even if black people would have been benefiting out of this government transformation program since 1994. And any black person who comes and invests, that person must be suspected. So I think it's becoming a kind of a worrying a narrative that we are generating and we're developing, and it is done by us. This problem of self-hate that I've been observing taking place for some time. So I'm happy with this, that so far I always meet people that I've never seen in any formation, in any platforms, benefiting. Then that says, Iliso, local member ANC, liyabona. You might be in a corner and thinking that no one is looking after you, but as long as we are doing what is right, and this program, what I like about it is that it affirms genuine entrepreneurs. Some of these people here, actually all of them that I've met before, are young people who are really entrepreneurs, who are not in business because there's a tender, who are in business because there's an idea, there is a proposal that they've developed, and that idea lives with them. So it is in their DNA. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about this. which we say we are affirming those young people. We know these weaknesses of tender. You can have your proposal, you can have your idea. When your idea gets out public, everyone is going to compete about it as if they know it. So that's what tender present to us. So we're trying to look at those young people with ideas. They must come and actually participate in this grant by following the due processes. I'm therefore pleased to announce that indeed the 17 projects headed by young entrepreneurs from Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality area are among the next round to benefit from the government funding to get their small businesses up and running. I will also be calling upon you, Your Worship, the Mayor of this metro, in the task ahead, which is to hand over these grants worth millions of rands and will be shared amongst the 17 youth projects being announced here today. 10 of the projects will be funded from the Eastern Cape Government isiQalo Youth Fund, while 6 will be funding from the Office of the Premier Legacy Projects Fund, and 1 project will be funded by the Department of Social Development. The value of these projects that are benefiting today is 5.5 million, and they are all from our host region of Buffalo City Metro. In a few months' time, the isiQalo Youth Fund will be allocating about 34 million to youth-owned businesses across the province. This is a seed we are planting in our young people, which we are hopeful will germinate to create jobs for other young people. I have been I've seen phenomenal passion and determination to succeed in the young entrepreneurs we have funded thus far. That motivates me to go to MEC for Finance to ask him to allocate even more resources to isiQalo Youth Fund in future, because funding is an essential need for young entrepreneurs. Indeed, if we really cultivate now the human being, we'll be able to see the fruits down the line. If we would have not benefited from your Charlotte McClaggers, others, all the other pioneers who saw the need of us going to school, educating ourselves, we would not be having educated people now, many years down the line. So the quote that the mayor made it here, actually it's something that we must all internalize and look at it and understand that what we are doing here today, almost all these big businesses you think of out there, they started small. They came in as an idea of someone. Everything starts like that. So you might not be certain with what you are doing now, but I can tell you that if you do it right and you support these young people, we can also have some bigger companies. I can tell you Mercedes-Benz would have been a family idea, germinating somewhere, Volkswagen and others. Now those are global companies trading in every part of the world, because that idea had to be actually nourished, had to be actually nurtured to be what it is today. So we are here to exactly do that. A small idea, you might think that it's a Buffalo City thing, it can end up here. It can make you national. It can grow your kind of ambitions to become a global entity. So we would want to have young people broadening their horizon every time they think about their future. The young entrepreneurs benefiting from funding being availed by government here today represent a cross-section of economic sectors of activity, including the manufacturing, ICT, agriculture, textile, skills development, arts and culture, and construction. This handing over ceremony culminates a month-long program which sought to educate the youth about their history and the role played by young people in the liberation struggle. The program also sought to encourage our youth to participate in the economy of the province while highlighting government's program for youth development. The agricultural sector is consistently one of the provincial economy's better performing sectors. The uptake by young people of the Youth in Agriculture initiative has been widely positive. Young people, especially in our rural areas, appear to be heeding the call to communities particularly in impoverished regions of our province, to return to the fields to plant and harvest and encourage household food security as well as to enter agricultural economic space. We'll continue giving support with capital contribution as well as knowledge and skills support to youth in agriculture cooperatives in our province. We hope in the coming years to reposition the Eastern Cape as South Africa's leading food producer. We appreciate the intergovernmental support and partnership expressed in the Premier's Intergovernmental Forum meeting yesterday, in which the unequivocal support initiatives geared towards the youth empowerment was expressed. Program Director, it would be amiss of me not to address one of the greatest challenges facing young people today, as we are all gathered here. Young people continue to be at the greatest risk of contracting avoidable diseases such as STIs, HIV, and AIDS, TB, and alcoholism. I call it a serious sickness. Our future economic performance and investment prospects will in part depend on the health of our most important asset, our youth. I must also address the issue of the socialization of the boy child and orientation in society as part of the efforts to combat and eradicate the high prevalence of crime and criminality, gender-based violence against women and children, alcohol abuse, and substance abuse generally among young people. It is important that parents and families not abdicate their responsibility to look after their kids, to provide parental guidance and leadership to the boy child on responsible, compassionate, and ethical living. I must also hasten to say, as the government of the constitutional democracy for the people, by the people, that all of us must as well should abhor the recent spate of murders and hate crimes seemingly targeting members of LGBTQI+ community in our province and elsewhere. The African National Congress stands firmly for the rights of all to be accorded basic human rights, individual respect and dignity, with a reminder to all of us of the God-given right to life and the protection of the vulnerable and weak among us, as enshrined in the Constitution of our beloved Republic. Program Director, I call upon all of us to return to where we come from and who we are. Let us return to our roots and heritage of Ubuntu. We affirm our support for the post-Nasrec ANC elective conference period, which has resulted in the favorable economic outlook on our country. We call on our private sector to seize the opportunity to provide employment, internship, and training to 1 million youths, as championed by the President Cyril Ramaphosa. The provincial government I'm leading is already playing its part in this regard. We are also encouraged by recent interaction with our partners in the international community, which we hope will result in key and significant economic developments of our province. We hope this will yield further direct foreign investment and upskilling of our labor force towards further growing our manufacturing capacity and agro-processing. We hope to emulate best practice economic models which are technologically heavy to inspire the growth we seek. As stated at the recent opening of the first Innovation and Digital Skills Center in Mthatha, in partnership with the Liquid Intelligent Technologies and the National Department of Communication, we hope to learn more about development of synthetic material, investigate new technologies in the development of petrochemicals, as well as research new building materials. We also hope to delve into the endless possibilities for mass communication solutions, particularly as it relates to agility required in communicating around service delivery and bottlenecks and successes. We want to also exploit bioengineering and agricultural processing technologies through ICT connectivity and locally developed systems towards sustainable growth and environmental endurance. Through innovation and digital technologies, we are to tap into the full potential of the Eastern Cape and her pupils. Ladies and gentlemen, we are alarmed by the steadily growing numbers of infection as the expectant third wave of the deadly COVID-19 is upon us. In line with the President's call for the continued observance of all safety protocols and regulation, we urge young people to advocate for wearing of masks and maintaining social distance and also remaining at home. I think President emphasized this point, that as a young person, you must understand that you can be gallivanting, you can be moving around and thinking that you have got a very strong immune system, but you must understand that when you come back, you have got those who have got weak immune system at home, and you don't want it to be that source in your own home where the entire family might be perished simply because you decided not to listen. But I think we need to prevail to young people to take full responsibility about these kind of issues. COVID is a challenge. Third wave is here. We are living with COVID. We are coexisting with COVID. Let's be disciplined. There is no cure for COVID. We're trying to do our level best to speed up the process of inoculation. But we need to protect ourselves. So far, these actually non-pharmaceutical measures have proved to be perfect in actually mitigating the spread of coronavirus. Let's make sure that we play our part. Wear your masks every time you go into spaces of our people. We welcome the alert level 3 that has been introduced by the President yesterday night. We appeal to our people to obey the rule of law, to respect the rule of law. If we behave, we work together, we will be able to contain the spread of this virus and make it a point that it is actually dealt with heavily. But if we don't behave, it might lead into the alert level 4 and alert level 5, where things will also be shut down. We don't want to experience that again. We've seen what it has done in our livelihood, and we would want to go back and experience that problem. So our plea on this issue of COVID, colleagues, is to all of us take responsibility about your life. Because if you are responsible about your life, you protect yourself, you will be able to protect the loved ones, your immediate family, you will be able to protect the society. People are dying. As the last 24 hours, we are reporting about 208 people who have actually succumbed to COVID-19. So we are going back to those big numbers on a 24-hour cycle. And we don't want to go back to what we have seen in the second wave. So we really are pleading with our people. Siyabacela kakhulu abantu bakuthi bayazi ba i-COVID-19 isenololamvila sinalo, and let's just respect it and try to contain it as much as we can. Nelson Mandela and Sarah Baartman, they are really a serious challenge now, really a red zone. I think Nelson Mandela alone accounts for almost 1,000 active cases out of about 1.5 active cases that we have in the entire province. And the Buffalo City is following that. So I think Buffalo City must understand that, because these areas with big populations are a challenge on this issue. So we really plead with our people. We don't want to go back to the problem of bed shortages and others when we see numbers. So I got scared when I hear that in Gauteng, they are now almost falling short of beds availability. Gauteng is big. It has got every infrastructure you can think of. So if it can be exposed to that, you can imagine if that comes here. I know Eastern Cape, everyone will be throwing tantrums, people can't sleep, will be insulting government left, right, and center. So let's play our part so that we don't reach to that stage. Just do your part. Stop being an armchair critic. Play your role in ensuring that COVID-19 is not actually spreading to other people. There is much that is youth-related that we could canvass here all the day. We will facilitate further dialogue sessions with youth to consolidate the youth development strategy going forward. Into esiyifunayo nje kuba urhulumente wethu through the DDM makaqinisekise into yoba abantu abatsha abanikwa amathuba. Young people have got ideas. Young people are thinking Young people are itching, they are so agitated. Let's create that space from the municipality, support young people, support them on their ideas, so that you lessen the burden of everyone looking for employment in government. So if we don't do that as government, I don't know what are we government for. In this province, we've got a bigger population of young people. You would understand why the province that has got the highest numbers of unemployment, and in those highest numbers of unemployment, it's young people. At least now, many of them are educated. Let's try to reskill them. Let's try to give them other options that they can see other things that probably they've never been exposed to from the curriculum that they've gone through. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Okay, thanks, Honorable Premier. We are now getting to the next item. And I think, Honorable Premier, in your speech, you have started to share some career orientation. I heard you mentioning synthetic fiber development, bioengineering. I'm sure young people, wherever they are watching, they will be taking up their dictionaries now, or getting to their Googles to check all those career prospects that the Honorable Premier mentioned in his speech. In the 2021 Provincial Youth Day commemoration, I heard about a particular career, and I am determined to pursue that career. On that note, we are getting to the climax of the day, and as we prepare for that, I am going to usher in Bulumko and Mandla to level the ground. And as they prepare to level the ground, I would like to acknowledge and welcome in our midst the South African Youth Council provincial leadership. You are welcome, Zinkokeli. Prepare to warm us up. I'm going to, because immediately after Bulumko and Mandla, we are going to get to the handing over of the deliverables to the beneficiaries. And I'm going to humbly request the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Executive Mayor, and the Honorable MEC responsible for social development to assist me in that handing over of the deliverables. They will come forward. And then the fourth person that I'm going to ask is Mr. Mandla Nduna. He is going to come forward so that he can arrange the setting for the picture capturing and all that. And then the beneficiaries, I would like you to be ready wherever you are. However, because of COVID-19 regulations, if you are 20 in your project, I request that you don't come as 20. You nominate a person that will come to receive on your behalf. And then at the end of it all, we are going to take a photo shoot, all of us as those beneficiaries, delegates or representatives that are here. So that is the procedure that we are going to follow after Bulumko and Mandla have warmed our hearts up. At the end of their rendition, I'm going to ask the Honorable Premier and the leaders that have humbly asked to come forward. Over to you, Mandla.
Build your barrier, the taller I become. The more that you take my rights away, so I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. Oh, I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. No, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Oh, you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. Hide behind walls of Jericho, your lies will come tumbling down. Deny my place in time, you squander what that's mine. My light was shine so bright, it will blind you, because there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. Know that my pride was gone. No, 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 no. Something inside so strong. Oh, oh, oh. Something inside so strong. See the Pumela, see the Pigalela, yeah. See the Pumela, see the Pigalela, see the Pumela, see the Pigalela, yeah. See the Pumela, yeah. Something inside so strong. Oh, I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. No, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Oh, yeah. Come with me down Paradise Road. This way, please, I'll carry your load. That's you won't believe. Come with me down Paradise Line. Look outside and open your eyes. Yes, you must believe, 'cause there are better days before us, and the burning bridge behind the fire smoking. The sky is blazing, there's a woman waiting and weeping, and the young man nearly beating up for love. Paradise almost closing down.
As she goes to sit down, I would like us, in addition to the applause, I would like us to say wow for her. No. Not just any wow. Not just any wow. I would like that wow to come from here. And I would like you to be intentional when you say that wow. Because indeed, she is a woman of wealth. And you say, wow. There you are. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank her. We thank them for that. And we are now at that point where we are going to hand over the deliverables. I would like to invite you now, Honorable Premier, Honorable Executive Mayor, Honorable MEC, to come to the front for the handing over of the deliverables. Ngokuzithoba MEC. Khawubethela xilongo lakho ngexesha uNtswaki athetha nam.
I hear the drums echoing tonight. She hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
There will be a number, young people, a number is a track, is a tune, is a song. Then I'm just using that language, a number, for those that sat down and did not even move an inch when that music item was being played. So I'm using that. There will be another number that will come up, and I would request everybody who can stand to stand up and show that they are appreciative of what is happening. I will indicate. At this point in time, we are going to start our award process. The Honorable Premier indicated that there are 17 coming from 3 categories. We'll start with the first category, which we call the legacy projects. These legacy projects, each one of them is getting a sum of 100,000 rand for them to continue what they are doing. They may, as they grow, decide to apply for other funding over and above this 100,000 rand, both from government, both from banking companies, and so on. But this one is a start for them to show what they can do with 100,000 rand, and then they can grow and develop. Allow me, Honorable Premier, not to provide a detailed profile per project, but commit that we will post full profiles of all these 17 enterprises on the OTP website, such that people, if they want to see them, they can see. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to call upon a project name and then indicate the sector that they are in and any particular aspect of interest. In number 1 in our list is an enterprise that is known as VL Kasi Enterprise that is based in Duncan Village. What is important about them is that they established this, and it was an initiative, an idea of a college graduate who said, I'm not going to wait to be employed. I'm going to do something. I'm going to establish a motor spares shop. So isipili sakho esonakeleyo uya eKasi, uya eDuncan Village siyolungiswa yiKasi Enterprise village there. Baphi ke abantu baseKasi? Xa sikubiza, you come forward.
The wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. I know that I must do what's right, sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down and
Following Kasi, we have a printing enterprise. And the name of the enterprise is Libona Print, also based at Duncan Village. What is special about this one is that already they are having in their payroll 15 skilled employees that are appointed on a permanent basis and a few that are on a part-time basis. Bangabaqashi. Shall we applaud them?
Hurry, boy, she's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down in Africa. I guess the rain's down in Africa. I guess the rain's down.
Thank you, Libona. The third one, also from Duncan Village. We will check what is happening in Duncan Village. Also from Duncan Village is a visual arts enterprise known as Profolic Entity. Bona, they are specializing in visual art and technical business, and they are innovating technical advances. These logos, these banners, asisazuthenga kwezinye indawo, sizawuya eProfolic Entity at Duncan Village. Over to you.
Awundicelele ukhona nobomi obungenazingxaki. Awundicelele ukhona nobomi obungenazinzingo. Obubomi siphila kubo unokufa.
Okay. Then the fourth one is Panda Internet Cafe. Responsible is coming from the ICT sector, responsible for ICT and printing services. What is interesting about them is that they started last year, but COVID or no COVID, in September, we are establishing our business. And at the time, they were operating from their home, ePhakamisa in King Williamstown. Panda Internet Cafe, akusasokolwa ePhakamisa, kufotokotshwa, kuprintwe ePanda Internet Cafe. Over to you, Panda.
Ihluphe kwezinhlizweni zethu, ifuna ingoma eliza. Ina iza, sela, 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 sela. Ina iza, sela, 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 sela. Ina iza, sela, 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 sela.
Okay, thank you. We are Going back to Duncan Village, where we get to MSK Lawn Care Services. 2 young men that are rendering all lawn care, bush clearing, tree felling. It means by BCM, as a sense, la good green deeds program, I launched in 2019, already MSK Lawn Care Services say corner is up. Utige, now at Dawn, they are actually based at Dawn. Kwalapha eMont. At Dawn, up eMont. Okay. Still around, but now Simuvile, Sise Greyland Farm. Uze ngaphambili into ase Greyland Farm eNxarhuni extension. Phaya sifika sidibane neMathafeni Pampila Greening Consulting Services. What is interesting about this, it's an enterprise that was established by a young female that holds a master's degree specializing in horticulture from the University of Fort Hare. Already get the premier 7 clients, i-local chisanyama, ziserviswa ngabo apho, i-abattoirs ziserviswa ngabo apho. Bathi Mathafeni Pampila Greening Consulting. Okay, sidibane eDuncan Village kwakhona iHlumelo Foundation, isector yabo skills development, and bona they are NPO paya of young people that are coordinating learner support programs. Bona bathi let's start young people from school, siba develop paya. Nabo yake iHlumelo Foundation. Bake bafumana free equipment for the after school programs zabo ze learners. Singena ke eMonti Revolution Entertainment uze ngaphambili ise Duncan Village nabo. They are in the arts industry. What is interesting about them is that they don't only provide entertainment services, they are also developing young people on this art industry. Okay. Let's move from Duncan Village, Siofike Dimbaza. At Dimbaza, in King Williamstown, we meet Liabona Art Collective Cooperative that is providing painting, sketching, fabric printing, murals, wood carving, but diverse paya bayasba amaqanda akho fake basket in A1. Liabona Art Collective from Dimbaza. Okay, simuve to Mdantsane. Mdantsane sifika kukho saloon phaya ekuthiwa yi-Roots Hair, operated by a young female and 2 other females. What is interesting about them is that they aspire to own multiple saloons and even establishing their own franchise. And I want to say, young ladies, that is possible. Shall we applaud them? Okay, now we're going to get to the second category. This second category are the beneficiaries of Isikalo Youth Fund. Bonake, the amounts will vary from enterprise to enterprise. We are starting in East London with Zazi Holdings, which is a clothing and textile enterprise that makes school uniforms, sweatshirts, protective clothing, any type of clothing or uniform that you want. Go to Zazi Holdings, and they'll be doing better now that they are getting 975,000 rand, 330 rands. Okay. Uzazi ke lo siza kumqhwabela. However, she has not been able to be with us on our premier because she had an accident yomntana wakhe this morning, so she is still attending to that. We pray and trust that umntana wakhe uza kuba better. Shall we applaud Uzazi? Siphethe mama ke ngoku premier babuzi babaphi intombi zikhona. The next one is Civil Girl from Dantsane. That civil girl is in the construction industry, and they are going to do more now that they are going to get 153,358 rands. Besebenza i-bricklaying, i-plastering, i-plumbing, i-occupational health and safety. That is Busisiwe and Company. Then the next one is Lumi Group in the ICT equipment, in the ICT training sector. And they are mainly training young people on ICT. And they also have employees. They are getting 137,578. Another ICT enterprise, it is Solanga. If I knew better, I would say this Solanga means in the meantime, disenza lento ndisalinde ukugrowa. Solanga, they are IT consultants that are providing software development, machine learning, internet, artificial intelligence, or cyber security, sibabuza phaa kubo, or network and cabling, sibabuza phaa kubo. They are going to do even more as they get 499,000 rand, 685 rands. The last enterprise from the isiqalo category, I would like you to sit upright on your chair. Cela uhlale uthi qwa. Uthi chest out, stomach in. We are ushering Hlomla Multi-Services from the agro-processing sector. They are their enterprise includes poultry production. They are so developed that they even run a youth development programs with the Agri-SETA. And what is interesting about them, Honorable Premier, is that their primary revenue generation source is the public in the community. They sell soya beans, they sell new products to the community. And they're going to do even better as they get awarded 1 million rand, 725 rand, 958 rands. The last category is the one that comes from the social development, and this one is also from the agriculture sector. What is interesting about them is that it's a mix of males and females. What is also interesting about them is that they specialize in chicken farming, in egg production, and they produce about 800 eggs on a daily basis. I was told this morning when I was asking, where is Nilabela Co-op? Why are they late? And then I was told that no, the project manager said, we are not leaving before these hens lay the eggs because we want to bring the eggs to ICC for people to buy. Please look out for those fresh eggs. They were late today. They are getting 535,000 rand to continue with their egg production company. At this point in time, I would like us, Sibakwabele Bonke, then Putmandla will indicate whether you want a group photo now. Let's clap for them and let's ask all the reps from the enterprises to come forward so that they take a group photo pic. Maucho kumto.
Bate fecho
Le pilla esa ropa, se yonka wosa, se tani no demo. Kopo daily manyora wosa, se tani no demo. Isi DJ sispinga njenge zwipisa ropa, dali chicken show. Ayo. Le pilla esa ropa, se yonka wosa, se tani no demo. Kopo daily manyora wosa, se tani no demo. Isi DJ sispinga njenge zwipisa ropa, dali chicken show. Ayo. Eke babuye noma bengeza bebaningi. Siloku sithule sibheke inyanga eke nowiki. 7 days ngeviki. Sejikile ivili. Umthudu John Wick. Akuthama ngaviki. Eke babuye noma bengeza bebaningi. Siloku sithule sibheke inyanga eke nowiki. 7 days ngeviki. Sejikile ivili. Umthudu John Wick.
Thanks a lot. I would like to indicate that our program is drawing to an end. We are left now with only 3 items. I'll name them so that you know that you are about to get out of this hall. We are going to get responses from the beneficiaries. We are also going, remember, I acknowledge the South African Youth Council provincial leadership. I know they cannot keep quiet in a program of young people. They cannot keep quiet when they see what young people are doing in their small corners with initiatives, with little resources. As a result, we'll take the South African Youth Council so that we can hear how they feel. After that, we get beneficiaries. Then the 3rd item will be vote of thanks. And I promise you, by 12 o'clock, you will not be, by 11:30, you will not be here. Guests at this point in time, Masiti Xilongo, si asharishe our leadership from the Provincial South African Youth Council, yase Eastern Cape, so that sive ilizwi labo lithini namhlanje. Xilongo ngibhuti wami.
Honorable Premier, the Executive Mayor of Buffalo City. Masatel Tuba Kesin Bulise, it's safe to say all protocol observed. Ngabi kubantu bazokhubeka kuba asibabulisanga because singazazanga zonke izihlalo ezikhona. Okwethu nje kuncinci ngoku kuba isithethi esiqavileyo sosuku sesithethile. Asifuni ku-creator izithethi ezimbini eziqavileyo zosuku. So we would be very short qha sisizela lozokwenza vote of thanks because ke ngathi sizohlala kakhulu pha kula ndawo ibulelayo. Uyayivana le ngoma apha ithi inhliziyo yami ithi tick 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 tick. So when you lead young people and you see what has just been displayed here, there is only one thing that is left in your heart. Ikuthi nje tick 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 tick, because you see that young people are getting empowered. Young people are getting supported of their own initiatives. Sifike late ke program direct kule program. Ndingwale ebhizana mna. Phansi kwenkosi ekuthiwa ngumzize. Xozothatha itaxi kuzapha emonti umzukuzuku omkhulu. Ndihambe ngobusuku ndihike ndisenzela ukwenza sure that we honor and be present to the program of the young people. So that's what is owed to us arriving late. It's because sisuka kude. But ke ndiye ndathi xa ndise ultracity ebusuku ndakhumbula enye ingqondo ekuthiwa nguMarx eyathi inkokheli azikhokheli or ihistory aziyenzi kwi-circumstances zokuzikhethela. But they make history on the circumstances that are presented by the past ne circumstances ezikhona. So here yandikhuthaza ngathi tyhini we are not going to lead on self-selected circumstances. Even on difficult circumstances, we ought to rise up and provide leadership. But it's quite important that we must siphuma siyaphuma ngothina as young people. Really issue out a word of appreciation on how we have seen a provincial government affirming youth initiatives. Because there is nothing more important than seeing an affirmation of a work of a young person than an affirmation of leadership. Because we are living in a society where now leaders become more important than those they lead, which it's an upside down type of a situation. Because leaders ought to be a vessel that of transforming the lives of those they live. So when you see then this particular transformation, it's what should therefore say at a leadership point of view that this is the work that we strive as a leader to achieve. This is an environment within which we have enabled it for these young people to flourish. So we are quite happy on what we see. And we can agree with you, Premier, that no, Konyani Siabonba, young people that are affirmed are not the close allies of those that are in power. Because angafumani into mnane yam enterprise, because we are close to those that are in power. So siyayingqina ke loo nto banyani, it's affirming young people. And we are happy when we see young people from darkened village, from these township areas. Tomorrow we might not be leaders then, but we would see affirmation of people coming from deep rural areas. And that is what would be an achievement for the leader of young people. So we are not going to speak much. We have prepared a lot, but given that we are speaking after the Premier, we felt that the only appropriate message you could pass across is that against all odds and difficulties that we have had, because we cannot say everything was rosy, but we can be proud today to say we are seeing that some of the conceptualization, such as Isiqalo, that are today flourishing, are flowing from the mind and hearts of our leadership. You know, when we took office in SAIC, it was in a very bad shape, where leaders were preoccupied by flashy things and bling. So, not that we have done anything enormous that anyone cannot do, but we are proud to see young people themselves taking a center stage, being affirmed. So, in those words, Program Director, this is what we would say as young people, and we're encouraging, and we get courage from those who even established their enterprise during last year, which was the most disastrous year we'd ever find. In a country where you wake up today, you are restricted. Tomorrow you were freed, you know, because of the conditions that are currently existing, which I think even at the leadership level are very difficult times to lead a government these days. So we are quite happy and honored. As I close, when you appreciate the work done by the youth unit in the province, because it's now led did not, we are not driven by that. We are not looking at the person, but we are looking at the quality of the work that is being produced there. And then if you ought to give credit at that time, and it coincide with our where we originate, it doesn't take away the excellency of the work that is being done. So we are quite happy, and we are thankful for those young people who are out there. When I seated there reading any poster, the young entrepreneur who found the shoe that is popular battle. They are now creating school shoes, not to sell them, but to donate to our society. Then it's quite inspiring when you see young entrepreneurs being supported, and that they can themselves also go back and support those that are disadvantaged, that are young. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you, Chairperson. Siyabulela. You have hinted that this is your last Youth Day commemoration, leaving us at a time when we are about to review our youth development strategy, but you are still young people in the province. We will still look to those contributions in any manner that you would contribute as member of the young people fraternity. At this point in time, we've heard how the South African Youth Council leadership feels. We want now to hear how the beneficiaries feel. The DJ has played Lengo Makashado Bangushado, it's Inhliziyo Yami ithi hey hey. I know I'm not that old. So we could, in a way, it was kind of a symbolic, but that is how our hearts are feeling now. But I don't want to assume. I'm going to call upon the Caesar together, UVL Kasi Enterprise, Nela Bella Primary Co-op, so that see how do their hearts beat at this point in time. But to get along, there's an apami.
time to be alive. All of us, or some of us, we didn't thought that this day would come into pass, but today it arrived. I would like to greet all, to say protocols observed, and greet you in the wonderful name of the Lord and Savior, my Jesus, amen. It's been a journey of quite a year now, because also we started in the COVID times, the year 2020. To tell you a short story, it was me walking down the streets of Duncan Village, trying to find out what can I do or what can I make a living. Surprisingly, there was a car coming from town that just broke down in the road. And that guy had to catch a taxi to go back to town to get the parts of the car that is missing, that broke down. So now I thought to myself, why not bring it to the community? Hence today, VL Kasi Enterprise, Kasi Auto Spares, is operating. It is with great thanks to the Premier's office, my peers, fellow entrepreneurs. As you said in the song, says, "Inhliziyo yam skips a bit." With this funding, it's only the beginning for me as a business, but yet going forward. Hopefully towards the end of the year or first New Year time, would have a second store operating. So it really goes a long way. It's high time for us to not just have money and use it in the one business, but to multiply it so that we know we are creating for other children. I would just want to leave you with this Bible verse from the Genesis 1 verse 28. I want to quote it correctly so that I don't get beaten by other people. It says, verse 28, it says, God blessed them all and said to them, be fruitful and increase in numbers. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over everything living creature that moves on the ground. I thank you.
Mandizibulisele namhlanje ko-Premier nakubantu bonke abakhoyo. Ndenze iriski ke namhlanje ndathi ndiza kwenza into yakhe yenziwa ngu-DJ Spoo ekwi-awards, waza ne-product yakhe ayithengisayo, into yamgxothisayo. So bendiqonda uba ndigxothiwe namhlanje, kodwa nizabe niwabonile amaqanda seniyela bhela. Ndiwazise ukuba athengwe nguPremier nomama wethu wapha kwa-social development, kuba uba kwathenga nina ndiyayazi uba i-Eastern Cape yonke izawusifuna isikhangele isifumane sisephumlani e-Needs Camp. Ke thina ke sesizi-beneficiary zakwa-social development, asiqalwa ngoku kodwa kudala sifumana kubo, silapha njengoku side sabrenda kungenxa yabo. Sineenkukhu ezi-800 zamaqanda. We produce 800 and something ngemini. Bendicimba fanele uba xa sineenkukhu ezi-800 sizawukwazi at least umitha i-target or i-demand ekhoyo kumaqanda ethu, but ingathi kukhona ngoku kufuneka siphinde sanyuka more, because la maqanda ndize nawo namhlanje ngawanamhlanje, aphume enkukhwini namhlanje, besingenawo izolo aphelile, because besiye senza i-business expo for abantu abatsha basephumlani izolo, apho besimeme social development, ECDC, SIDA, nezinye indawo otete yabebe khona. Sizothi kubantu abatsha kuyaqaleka kuyenzeka. Vuka uzenzele. If ndingakota amaza wakhe athethwa nguPremier ngexesha wayelontsha isiqalo Youth Fund. Wathi uzoyithola kanjani uhlele konene. Ndifuna ukuthi Premier siphakamile sikhona siyaqhubha and ndingathanda ba njeba siqhubha side sibe yifama ezoma apha eMonti imele iEastern Cape imele abantu abatsha ukuze njeba niyikhupha le mali niqhubeka niyibona ba iyawenza umahluko ezimpilweni. Uthe xa uthetha namhlanje wathi graduates azizuqeshwa zonke mhlamba azizuqeshwa nini kwi-departments zenu kodwa singakhula thina siyazidinga i-graduates kwezi fama zethu ukuze sizokwazi ugcina bookkeeping yethu right so that le mali yenu nisinika yona ingapheli because sine challenge oba i-cooperatives ziyafundwa mhlawumbe for 2 years ziqhubeke zisenza but xa kuphinda kujongwa azisekho imali ezininzi zilahlekile ii-millions but ndinomceli mngeni kwezi departments zisinika imali khanisebenze nathi as basiba ne-contract ye 2 years nani mane nisiza ukuthi nisichekishe uba le nto besithe siyayenza ngemali siyayenza so that umsebenzi wenu ubonakale unempumelelo ningasiniki ogqiba nisiyeke ziphele izinto. Enkosi kakhulu. I-R80 amaqanda u-60 wethu u-50 ibe u-30 ibe yi-R50. Enkosi kakhulu.
Masibulele. Ndicela ke luntu nokukhoshina ke luntu into yoba yi-R80 if you are paying immediately. But if you are paying 30 minutes later, say khona i-R5, so kabukhwathaza i-R5 more. Thanks to the 2 young people, I do want to indicate phaya ekasi into kokuba the prospects of having a second shop, again I'm saying that is possible. If you are reading the Isiqalo Youth Fund literature, you'll find that businesses that want to expand, they can apply. So I'm saying it's not the end of the day. The last beneficiary now, Honorable Premier, is someone othi indwendwe ziyabukwa. This beneficiary ulibone uthi yena the Premier cannot come to the BCM beneficiaries young people zase BCM uPremier abe ngathi khangaye ndawo. Khawuze ke bhuti wami sive into yoba uthi akanoba ngathi khangaye ndawo njani uPremier. Over to you.
Kwabaleka insuku ndikhangela indlela yophuma kwenzeka isimanga amaphupha peseka kwavela kwalunga yonke into ndancedwa inkolo nensebenzo nokuqa ngedolophu bawo.
Good morning. Singulia Bona Art Collective. Sisuke Timbaza. We are a brainchild of 5 young motivated people who decided that our hobbies, it was high time that they became our businesses and our livelihoods. So we are a creative group who makes art, all visual arts. And so to show our appreciation for this honor of being here today, we've made a portrait for uPremier, the Honorable Mr. Oscar Maboyane. So we'd like him to come to us to receive our gift to him.
you, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much, DDG Sokutu. Thanks to these guys. Who, about 2 years ago, we said to our State of the Province address, we are including this creative art as part of our niche areas that we believe must also be assisted by government. We have seen a lot of young people leaving this province to do this in Johannesburg, in Cape Town, performing, becoming actors, and all that in our TV screens. We thought it's something that we can do here. We've got all what it takes as a province. So thank you very much, guys. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. Nindizamile. Benexhala lomnqwazi ba konye indoda ekuthiwa ngurasta ayikibethe ecaleni.
Ndancedwa inkolo nentsebenzo nokuqa ngedolophu bawo.
Okay. Nanso-ke, the last item, siyabulela liyabona. They are stationed at Dimbaza. If you also want to have your own specially made portrait, they are there. Ayikokuzidla mali ukuba ngapha. At this point in time, we're going to ask upon our Councillor Vetboy to render a vote of thanks. Let's applaud him as he comes up.
Thanks, Program Director, the Honorable Premier, the MEC, government officials from the provincial government, the Troika of Buffalo City, led by the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, the Speaker of Council, all young people that are here, and the Youth Manager in Buffalo City, and the Provincial Chairperson of Youth Council, and all government officials. Let me take this opportunity just to reflect on few issues which I think they are very important for this particular day. I think, Honorable Premier, as a former leader of young people like yourself, like anybody that is here, we must indeed appreciate that the generation of 1976, of course, yawenza umjukuzo to change the life of the people. It is indeed a good approach. I so wish that you engage in the national government and other provinces, that as we celebrate this day, it must be fashionable go launch projects that are benefiting young people. And again, I agree with you that we need to do a collection of information in terms of the beneficiation of young people in all spheres of government and private sector. Your local municipality, your provincial government, because the work that you are doing as government of the people, akuzubalula ubona if we don't have a booklet like this one. Ezawuthi kulonyaka, this is what we have done. Of course, there will be challenges, DDG, because udlangothi sodolophu ke Premier, xa sithetha ngalanto ye-housing, wakhela umuntu apha indlu ayobalisela wako wabekwelehe emqanduli, abuye enza igali isigqiki, ngomso athi ndifuna umbane, ndifuna indlela, because you are addressing a moving target. Now, noba wenza ntoni, people will always demand. Now, what we must do, we must be able to invest to ideas ezinjengezi zisuka apha that will be able to create opportunities for others. I think ngoba ndinikwe nje le responsibility, a vote of thanks, I felt that manqale nje kuloo ndawo also to say, as a former leader of young people, indeed you understand the call of young people. We must indeed, ours is to support you where it's necessary, to critique you where it's necessary. But indeed, the chairperson of Youth Council is correct to say it's a responsibility of young people to make sure that these kind of ideas, they exist. They are not just in paper. I think wonke umuntu lapha siyambulela eBuffalo City nakwiphondo laseMpuma Koloni ngoba nizidubile naza ngelisuku libaleke kangaka. Liye lalisuku loba liqwalasele labantu abatsha, not because of it's a calendar day, but because of number of activities that were done in trying to change the life of the people. Of course, Honorable Premier, we've created, as government of the people, a space for everybody to speak free. But some in the social media will mislead our society. It's our responsibility to avail ourselves and respond and clarify some issues. And indeed, we are not perfect, but we cannot allow people to compare the previous government with the current government. If you really know Africa and South Africa. But if you don't know South Africa and Africa, you will do that. Yabona ko Adam, yabona phe eBhayibhelini Premier. Kukho into ekuthiwa ngu-Adam, utata ekuthiwa ngu-Adam. One of the mistakes that Adam did is that when he was born, okanye ngwayidalwa zange azihambe ezaa stage zethu. Wadalwa namhlanje kusasa wafuna umfazi. Now akana experience yobomi sodolophu. Now wenza imistake yoba sishiye nesono. Now you'll have people like that. People will think that when you deal nokukhokhela country ne society, usila lando yakudala phezulalini kuthiwa inkumba leyo ba uyisile ngoku in the next hour kwisele ibe ne production. That is not how you lead. You take time. You must understand the challenges so that when you lead people, you are able to give them a proper analysis of their way forward. I think by those few words, on behalf of the city, delegated by the mayor, siyanibulela ibhatyi khange sithi zikhululeni nje ningazinxiba ke ngoku. Enkosi.
Thanks, Councillor. Sizake siyicinge le kaTata Adam. At this point in time, ndiyagqibelisa uthetha. Ndifuna ukuthi I would like you ke ngoku wherever you are to tell the person who is seated on the chair on which you are sitting. Look at the person who is sitting on the chair on which you are sitting. And tell that person, oku kulandelayo. Xelele lo mntu into yoba, if you are standing, tell the person who is standing where you are standing, and tell that person that I could not have spent my day better than I did by coming here today. I could not have spent my day better than I did by coming here today. NgesiXhosa umxelele uba ukuba lapha ayikokuzidla mali. Nawe wena ubukele on the social media, tell that person into okokuba i-data yabo abaconnecte ngayo ayimkanga namanzi. Mandikuve ke umxelela lo mntu. Uprime uxelela u-MEC uxelela lo mntu uhleli kwesi situlo uhleli kuso wena mthetho. On that point, thank you a lot for being such a wonderful audience and such wonderful participants. And there's a reward for that. Reward is that you move here, you go to the ICC hotel, to the 3rd floor. There's a restaurant there where you are going to produce your coupon, and then you will be receiving into ethi ukuba lapha ayiko kuzidla mali unwabe. And I would like to wish you a blessed Youth Day. Enkosini ke bethunana.